Do you remember how to make sentences in active and passive voice? We are gonna remember those things right now because your unit number 3 talks about passive voice. So you have to make the difference between those two ways to make sentences. In active voice, we always mention the doer. We say who makes the action. And in the passive voice, we don't mention the doer. We don't mention the doer. That is the difference. In this voice, we mention the doer, and in this one, we don't mention the doer. Now, in the active voice, for example, let's talk about a sentence in simple present. For example, I says, Anita lava la tina. So we are gonna write, Anita washes the tub. In past, we would say, Anita lavó la tina. And then we will write, Anita washed, because it's a regular verb, the tub. What is going to happen in future? We will say, Anita lavará la tina. So we will write, Anita, auxiliary will, the verb in the simple way. Anita will wash the tub. What would happen in present perfect tense? In present perfect, it would say, Anita ha lavado la tina. So we will write, Anita has washed the tub. Remember, past participle when we use this auxiliary. In present perfect, we are going to use this auxiliary. Remember, for the persons, he, she, it. And the auxiliary have for the persons, I, we, you, they. In this example, we are talking about Anita, so we say, Anita has washed the tub. What happened in past perfect? In past perfect, we say, Anita había lavado la tina. So we are gonna use the auxiliary have, because it's the past of have and has. Anita had washed the tub. Past and past perfect. These sentences, as you can see, are in active voice because we are mentioning the doer. In all the tenses, we are mentioning the doer. Let's change all these tenses, all these sentences in passive voice. Passive voice. In passive voice, we will say that we don't mention the doer. So we will say, La tina es lavada. And we don't care who makes the action. So we don't mention it. So we say, La tina es lavada. And we will write, the tub is washed. Look, verb to be, past perfect. Always those two words are gonna be together, always the verb to be and the other verb in past perfect. In the past, we're gonna say in passive voice, we're gonna write la tina fue lavada. La tina fue lavada. So we will write the tub was washed. Remember, this is the past of the verb to be. This is a regular verb, so it's the same in past and past participle. In future, in passive voice, we will say la tina será lavada. We don't mention who is gonna wash it, so we say la tina será lavada. And then we will write the tub will be washed. Será, always verb to be and past participle. What is gonna change in present perfect? In passive voice, remember, we don't mention the doer, we don't mention who makes the action. So we're gonna say la tina ha sido lavada o han lavado la tina. La tina ha sido lavada o han lavado la tina. En español, no mencionamos quién la lavó. Y esa es la voz pasiva. No mencionamos quién hace la acción. So we say, the tub has been, ha sido, lavada, washed. Ha sido lavada. Past participle of the verb to be. This is the verb to be. And the other verb is in past participle also because we are talking about passive voice. Past perfect. What is going to happen with the passive voice in past perfect? We will say, la tina había sido lavada. O habían lavado la tina. We don't mention, remember, we don't mention the doer. So the tub had been washed. So what is going to happen now if we want to use modal verbs? Remember how to use modal verbs? Do you remember the modal may that talks about a possibility? This is a supposition that you have doubt, a supposition with doubt, con una duda. Remember the other modal that is might, that is a possibility. Another modal that is could, that talks about a possibility also, but it's a possibility weaker, más débil, than may and might. It's weaker than may and might. And also remember another modal that is must, that talks about an obligation. And also will that talks about a wish or a desire in the future. So, if we want to use these modals with the passive voice, we are going to make sentences like this. Look. La tina debe ser lavada. Presente. The tap must be washed. Or we can say the tap may be washed. A lo mejor sea lavada. Or we can say the tap will be washed. La tina será lavada. These are sentences using modal auxiliaries, modal verbs with the passive voice. And it's too easy, and that is the way you are going to work in your work guide. I hope you finish and you send all your homework on time.